Time. My name is Ashley. I am a blogger slash aspiring coach slash aspiring author slash so many other things, but by professional backgrounds, I am a professional nurse. I wanted to talk about, can you hear me? I wanted to talk about overcoming survival mode. So if you haven't been keeping up with what I've been talking about for the past couple weeks, I feel like I am called in this season to serve women who are in survival mode, quote unquote. And that just means, initially I thought it meant saving women who are like so career driven that they can't get out of their own way to do life, essentially. And then as I dug deeper into the processes and the method that I came up with, I realized that it's so much more than just career driven women. It's basically all women. We all have about where we get into survival mode, so to speak. And I'll let you guys know, I started therapy a couple weeks ago because I felt like it's necessary. Ain't nothing wrong with it. A lot of people be like, oh my God, you have a problem. Ain't nothing wrong with it. It gives me time to chat to somebody and I pay them to listen, basically. But it's so much more than that because it's deconstructing all of the norms that I've accepted over the years, everything that I thought was okay but really wasn't. It's allowing me to express pent-up feelings. Hey Mahesh. Allowing me to express pent-up feelings and just everything that I feel like I need to clear the air. You know, I need to let it out. Things, hey Jenny, some things where I feel like, how to explain it? We get into this notion of this is okay and this is cool, but it's really not, and we know it's not. But for us to accept it and for us to get past it or to overcome it, we just say, oh, it's okay, it's fine, it's just life. But it's not. It's not okay, and it's not just life, and things just don't go on. We have to find ways to deal with that. So basically the reason I started therapy. But in that, I found where there's something my therapist said to me the first session, and it like, girl, it was like in my forehead when she said it. She basically said, you are like me. I am in survival mode based on the experiences that I had during childhood. And I felt like she read my whole life in like all of 15 minutes. And I was like, wow. Like I really signed up for somebody to read me. But I appreciate it because then it allowed me to see in my own purpose walk and purpose journey that I'm not just speaking to women who are career driven and on that path of, you know, like they just have to win, have to get this thing, and it just has to happen. Hey Brie. It encompasses everything that happens in your life, right? So for me, and I've said this before, I saw that I was on a journey of survival mode when all I was doing was going to work, coming home, going to work, trying to figure out if I should go back to school or not, going to work, coming home, trying to figure out if I was going back to school, maybe I shouldn't go back to school, maybe I should do this next thing. And it was just like a snowball effect. I'm just on a cycle of trying to figure out the what's next. And then I'm like, I really don't want to live a life of what's next. I want to live life how it is right now, in the here, in the moment. And a lot of people don't sit back and live in a moment. They're always thinking of the future, which is great. But then you find yourself surviving. You're just living for the what's next, and you're not living for the right now. And you're not sitting in the moment to figure out, okay, well, what do I want to do right now? Right? And I was speaking to somebody earlier. God bless her heart. Thank you, Ivy, if you're watching this. And she basically said to me, you know, yes, you want to get to the future, but you have to sit in where you are right now. Like, what's happening with your thoughts right now? Like, if you don't pay attention to those thoughts now, they're going to eat you alive, basically. And you're just going to sit in that, like, oh, well, this is just chomping away at me, and I'm just like, woe is me. And I had to really stop and think like, wow, your thoughts really do become you, right? Over time, I think we get so caught up into our headspace that we don't allow ourselves to step back from the situation and really dive into, why am I thinking these things? What's really going on with me? I don't, like really sit and write it out and just allow ourselves to process. We just accept it for what it is and move on. And that's the same thing with survival mode. I developed the method, the 5 P's to Thrive, because I found that I was in a space where I was in a pain, so to speak. I was in a pain, so to speak, and my pain was really linked to work and just feeling the constant wanting to do more, not knowing how to find that. And so the more I did, the more I felt burned out. The more I did, I felt like now I'm venturing out into something different, but I still feel like I have a second job, and I don't want to feel that way. Ignore the heat. And so over time, I was like, this is not it. I spent months being anxious, being scared, not knowing where to turn, not knowing if anybody understood what I was trying to say. Just like in my head with thoughts just toiling until I discovered purpose. And so you'll hear me talk about purpose a lot, because it was a thing that I found that I needed in the moment when I was running to all the wrong places. So in order for me to get out of that pain and to not be triggered so often and not be constantly burn out and be thinking, oh my God, like I just feel so unappreciated. I feel this. I feel like I'm doing all this work, like overwork and underpaid. And that's, girl, if anybody can resonate, let me know. But I felt so boxed in, and that I was trying to run out and trying to escape these things, and I didn't know where to turn until I found purpose. So for me, it's identifying the pain, pulling the trigger on what's causing all these things. Pursuing purpose is my 3rd step, because that's what I did, right? Progressing past fear is the 4th step, and then pivoting. And you might have heard me talk about this a couple weeks ago. I made an IGTV. And so I'm at the point where pursuing purpose is like, okay, this feels right. It feels, and it doesn't feel safe anymore, because child, listen, those fears, when they pop up. Anywho, so I felt like purpose was my saving grace. And now I'm looking at it from the outside looking in, like there are a lot of people in survival mode, right? And I'm gonna try to tie it together so you can understand it, how I'm thinking it. There are a lot of people in survival mode who have been living in this this place of, I don't know, seeking constant gratification, if that makes sense. They're constantly going for the next best thing. You could have a college degree, you might not have a college degree, you might be a big shot, you might not be a big shot, but you're constantly seeking something more. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but when you're doing it on a consistent basis to the point where you are drowning and you don't come up for air and you can't breathe and you can't identify all the ways in which you're suffering, that's the problem. And that was me. That was my problem. I was suffering, right? I knew I was anxious. I knew I was going through all these whirl of emotions, but I wasn't coming up for air. And so once I stopped and said, nah, bro, like something ain't right. Like, this is supposed to make you happy. This is supposed to make you feel good or better about yourself. And you're supposed to feel like, yes, like I finally found the thing. And it wasn't. It was not. And so purpose, as I said, was my saving grace, because it allowed me to take a step back and look at things from an unconventional method, from a non-traditional standpoint. So I'm gonna repeat myself. If at any point, guys, you realize that I'm getting blotchy, I'm freezing, or you just can't hear what I'm saying, please let me know in the comments, because that's a problem. Anywho, so if you can resonate with what I'm about to say, drop it in the comments, let me know. We have been so programmed, and I was talking about this earlier, to be on a traditional route, right? Again, I don't knock education. It's important for any route you take in life. You always have to educate yourself. But we have been so conditioned to get good grades in school, right? Get a degree, go to college, get a degree, or do some form of higher education, get a good job, get the career, we'll be set for life, life's gonna be great, oh my god, right? Especially as women. And sometimes it's not even that our moms or our parents tell us that we should do these things, but then it's in the movies, and then you see all these people around you, and they're I want to say insinuating, but they're basically like pushing onto you that, oh, you need to do these things by this timeline. So by 25 you need to have a boyfriend, and then by 28 you need to get married, and then by 30 you need to have some kids, and then by 31 you need to have a house. And if you don't have those things, then what are you doing with life? Because this is not right. Survival mode. And some people do it, some people settle, right? Yeah, you got a boyfriend, but you know he ain't really it. But you're like, well, this is what I was told I gotta do in life, so this is what I'm gonna do. And then the next thing you know, you're settling, right? You have some kids. Now you're unhappy, he's unhappy. Now life is just like, why the hell did I do this? And now you're depressed and all these things. And not to make it sound like such a light situation, but people actually live these lives because of what they were trained to do in childhood. I don't want to live a life like that. Granted, you don't want to get married and have me some beautiful chocolate babies. Don't judge me. But I'm not going to do it on the premise of what I've been taught for so long, and not understand why these were the steps that were put in place, and not understand why I need to now do these things based on what I've been taught all these years. So many people go through life and do the things the way it was written in the books, right? And they don't stop to say, maybe this is not how I want to live my life. Maybe I can take a different route. Maybe I can take a different turn. Maybe, just maybe. Hey, Taylor. And so what tends to happen is we get to 40s and 50s and we are so unfulfilled, and we feel like we're not even drowning anymore. We've already drowned and nobody reached out a hand to save us. And it's just like, all right, well, I mean, at this point I can't change anything, and it's hey, and it's too late, so I'm just, it's done, it's over with. And so personally, I can't speak for those people. I may be able to speak for one, and I'm gonna share their experience. I'm not gonna call the names, but then you'll hear people get to that, like, their late ages, right? And then they'll say things like, oh, I wish I had done XYZ 1 2 3. Or, oh, well, life was different back then. We just had to have kids to have kids. I mean, get married to get married so we can have the kids. And I get it. Times are changing. Times are changing, which is why staying in survival mode and going to school, getting good grades, and getting a college degree to just have a career is not going to fulfill you. Some people might want that. That's okay. But I'm saying you have to find the passion and the joy in what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just going to be just on a cycle. And then you're going to be wondering why you're getting all these certifications, these degrees, these things happening. And you're not, it's not making you feel good about yourself. Does that make sense? Like, am I the only one? Because I really need to know. But so I'm not gonna call names. So I know someone, an old wise lady, who, when I had asked her a couple years ago now, I had asked her, hey, like, how come you never talk about, you know, like when you got married and your wedding day and, you know, like life's journey? And the response was like, there's nothing to talk about. I'm sorry. So you mean to say that you did the whole white wedding gown and everything, you got dressed, you went to the chapel, gonna get married, and you didn't feel like, ooh, yes, this is popping, this is hot, this is what I've always wanted, yada. You didn't feel like that? And she was like, no. And I'm like, oh, I don't want that. Like, I don't want to get to 80 something years old and then look back and have folks asking me like, hey, tell me about this experience, and my response is just like blah and dry and just life went on. That there is also living in survival mode, and a lot of people won't stop to recognize and to realize what was happening or what they went through, or this is actually what their life was. A lot of people don't stop to do that. I'm in my 20s and I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't want to live a life of just, I hit these targets and not ever stop to say, but never stop to say, okay, I hit these targets because I wanted to, or I did these things because this was on my heart, and sometimes, God, the conversation I had earlier is just coming up. Sometimes a lot of the reasons why we don't take the time to stop and to think and stop and pivot and stop and really see what's on our hearts is because, in the words of my good sis, she said, because we're so afraid of being stripped off and being naked and pushed out into the street and having other people laugh at us for what we really want to do, that we stay clothed and stay in our fuzzy little robe and our fuzzy slippers, and we sit there and we bask in everybody else's dream but our own. I'm sorry, and for whoever's going to be watching this and you feel offended, feel free to hop off. I'm cute naked. So if I'm being pushed out naked into these streets and you want to laugh, go ahead and laugh, because guess what? At the end of the day, I'm cute with it. And if I have to cry a little bit, and if I have to, like, damn, it's a little cold out here, I'm going to do that. But guess what? I'm going to stand up outside in here in these naked streets until I get it right, because that's what I feel called to do. Point blank, period. So it leads me to something that popped up into my head. I had a whole bunch of notes. This is a thing with me. Like, I come on here and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write these notes out and I'm gonna follow the script, and wrote all these notes, and I can guarantee you not half of them is anything that I just said. Hi, Andra. So something that popped into my head just now was, for people who make vision boards. I make vision boards every year with my girls. Shout outs to Brie and Shy. And there are times, and I was listening to a podcast episode that Patrice Washington had done a couple months ago now, and she said, so many times in life we do the things that other people expect for us to do because of our titles, because of where we are in life. So me as a nurse, people might expect me to then go ahead and get certified in, I don't know, critical care, in stroke, in I'm a neurosurgery nurse. So in my clinic, what's it called? Jesus, CNRN, look it up, I can't. But a lot of times people expect you to do the thing based on where you are and that stage you are in life. But then you don't stop to say, even though I'm here, is this really what I want to be doing next? Is this really what's on my heart now? Right? And so she said she was living a life for a couple years based on what everybody expected her as the money maven to be doing. Because you're a money maven, like, you gotta look, a certain kind of way and do certain kind of things. Drive certain cars, have certain houses, But what if I don't want the big mansion? What if I don't want to drive the range? What if I just want a cute little country bungalow and to drive me a nice Nissan and keep it pushing? And she said for years she was doing the things that she thought she needed to do to uphold a certain standard. It's like vision boards. I had, which I may still get certified, don't judge me, because it's a little extra cash. But for years I had to get certified on my vision board, but never took the steps to do it. Because at a certain point I had to stop and say, before I made, I'm looking at it, before I made my 2021 vision board, I had to stop and say, is what I'm putting on here the visions that I have for my life, or is it the visions that other people are projecting on me? Because I don't want to live a life of surviving based on what other people expect me to do. I want to live a life that fulfills me. So every single thing on my vision board right now is things that I expect to happen, yes, this year, things that I'm working on, right? I mean, the love piece, when it comes, it comes. I'm a manifest it. I'm working on it. I'm working on my healing so that, you know, when it comes, I can say, okay, that's it. Because them other things weren't. But understand what I'm saying. Like, in order for you to thrive in any season, you have to be strategic. You have to be intentional about what you're putting out there for yourself, not what other people expect you to do. So for me, survival mode, as I said, wasn't just about career-driven women. It was about all the things that happened in childhood, all the things that surfaced, all the things that you buried, all the things that you kind of pushed it aside, like, that's irrelevant. But all the things that really are relevant, and you just haven't tapped into them, and you haven't tapped into your healing, and now these things are driving your life. And you'll see, you know, the moms and the grands and the dads and all these people, they'll talk about their life, and you'll be like, you're so miserable. It's not funny. But when you really stop and think, you're like, what? Like, are you happy in life? And I'm like, I don't want to get to that point where I get there and I'm not fulfilled. I don't want my kids to be looking at me like, ew, like I don't want to live like you. I want them to look at my life and be like, you know what? I respect it because you did exactly what you needed to do, when you needed to do it, what you wanted to do, and so on and so forth, right? So I see a couple people joined. Hey guys, if you can resonate with anything that I just said, please let me know, right? It's something that I see that I'm passionate about. It's something that I feel like I am, as I said, called in this season to serve others who have either been on the same journey, who have gone through some of the same things. And it's important for me to know, because the more I think about it, the more upset I get, because I'm just like, there are really people out here who are struggling in life and not doing anything about it. Excuse me. And I'm at the point where I'm doing something about it, right? So my fourth step in my process, in my method to thrive, is progressing past fear. And it was an important step that I had to include because, girl, let me backtrack for a second. Let's talk about yesterday. Yesterday, I was supposed to drop the video on YouTube about progressing past fear. So I did. I'm breaking down the steps on my YouTube channel. And yesterday, the video was supposed to drop. I made an IGTV last night just discussing what happened. Basically, your girl had a blunder. I was upset at myself basically all day. All right, I couldn't get over it. I was annoyed. I was like, bruh, really? Like, how? And then I hit a point where somebody reached out to me. I, shared what was on my heart, and she said, give yourself grace. She didn't even say all that. She just said grace, like one word. And I was like, all right, sis, you got it. And at a certain point, I was just like, but why are you holding on to the fact that you made a blunder? Like, you mistakes happen, life goes on. Yeah, I deleted the video, and I'm still over here like, damn it, like how? But I had to really sit and think, why was it bothering me so much? And I was finally able to say it was bothering me because I'm connected to the fear that people are going to think, oh, wow, like she couldn't even post her video today, yada, yada, yada. She broke the promise of she was supposed to be on live. And then at one point I was like, but who are these people that are talking about the she? This is my platform. Hello. Like, if you have a problem with it, then you need to go. Hillary. Yeah, boo. And when I came home and made the video, I was just like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. In being my authentic self, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna let y'all know that I had a blunder and I was pissed off about it and I was annoyed. And then I didn't even want to do my live anymore because I knew that the energy that I was gonna bring to this live was not there last night. So I had to progress past the fear of what others would have to say or what others would have done and move past it. Like, it's okay, sis. You're gonna show up anyway. And whether you're annoyed, angry, upset, whatever it is, when you show up, whoever is supposed to receive the message is going to receive the message, and that's just on that. So that's just an example of me progressing past my fear. Hey Shy, when I made the method and I put progress past fear, it was an important step for me, because I realized that a lot of us will be on the journey to getting out of our own ways to do what's really on our heart and to do what we're passionate about. Hey boo, do what we are, what brings us the most joy. But then we get to a point where that mental block goes up. And this happened to me this morning, not with this live, but you'll see soon. But I had a moment where I just had to stop, and it's like, well, damn it, like I thought once I, identified the pains and I pulled the trigger on what was happening, and I was able to say, okay, like, it's not all about work and chasing the bag and securing the bag and making money. Sometimes it's about something deeper. And thank you, boo. And once I said, okay, I'm pursuing purpose, right? I thought I had it made. I thought, like, all right, this is it. Like, survival mode, like, we're not doing that no more. And then the fears came. And then I was shut up real quick and pushed to the back of the bus. And I'm like, I thought I had it figured out. Confused as to what's happening here. Because the fears come up and they say, you can't do this. And how dare you even try to step out of something that people have been taught to do for years, right? How dare you even think about pursuing purpose? Like, what is purpose anyway? Who's going to understand you? The fear of everybody who had something to say, even though it's in my head, started coming up, and then the limiting beliefs started crawling in. And I said, well, I'm sorry, like, clearly this was a joke, and clearly this is not something that I should be doing. So I'm gonna just step back real quick. And I am here to tell you, right, that you are going to experience, you are going to experience great resistance for every time you feel like you want to step out of your comfort zone to do something that's on your heart, or to do something that you feel like is out of your norm. For every time, and it doesn't have to be, it could be school, it could be getting a promotion, it could be writing, I don't know, what's that thing called? What's something called? You know what I'm talking about. Excerpts. What is this thing called? Journals. Writing in, like, for journals and things like that. It could be any one of those things, right? But for every time that you say, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm feeling, like, I'm gonna try this, you're gonna experience resistance, right? And I know a couple people in here, I'm not gonna share your stories, but I know a couple people in here who over the years have had moments where they had wanted to do something. Fear is a hell of a thing. They had wanted to do something or set out to do, something on this particular journey, and then it whipped them into shape, and it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should do something else instead, because what's happening? We all have those moments, right? And what I'm trying to say is, don't let the fears of life and the fears that are in our head and the thoughts that will come in and kick us down and tell us that we can't, and don't let the devil basically deter you from what is on your heart and telling you what you need to do, because survival mode is a hell of a thing. Survival mode will cause you to keep living this lie of a life and keep living in a way where you're not fulfilled, in a way where you're not being your best self, being your most authentic self. You're not living life on purpose, and 100%. And it will cause you to stay on a path that is just not for you. And that's survival mode. Like, you're not thriving. You're not doing what is on your heart. Y'all get what I'm saying? I had a thought just now and I lost it. But all that to say, I want to encourage you guys to, if you've ever felt this way, if you feel this way right now, to just stop, take a second to just really think of what is causing you to stay on a journey that's doing nothing for you. Because there's something. Trust me, I've done the work, I've seen it. I'm like, oh word, like this goes back to childhood. Like once I heard that, and let me tell you why. Because this is what I realized. I was always the child to just understand. I was never the child to break out and like make a fuss about things and go off and oh my god and throw tantrum. I was never that kid. If you can tell, I'm very chill. I like to be chill. I don't like drama. And in me not liking drama, I will just, okay, hush hush, cool, that's it, let's move on. That's me, right? And so I'm dissecting all the ways in which childhood, as a child, as a teen, as a preteen, I've just accepted things and allowed it to flow. Because I'll tell a lot of people, like, nursing school is my saving grace because I didn't know where to turn next. And people don't tell you, like, sometimes what's on your heart is what's supposed to be your life. But because we don't learn about our emotions. We don't learn about mindset. We don't learn about, spirituality, yes, but we don't fully understand and dive into it as adults. So we just accept what's been taught to us and we just say, okay, well, this is what my parents did, so I'm gonna do the same thing. Mommy worked 2 and 3 jobs, so I'm just work 2 and 3 jobs. Shy, I know you can resonate. We needed to go to school, get a job, make a career out of it so we can get full benefits, so we can have a pension. So that's what we're gonna do for the rest of our lives. And we don't stop to think, why am I doing this? And then a pandemic comes about, right? And then we're in the midst of a pandemic, and then we don't realize that, hey, the market's about to crash. So all them jobs that you thought that you had security with, you don't have security with. And so basically your ass is grass. So I'm sorry. What have we been taught for all these years? And the industrial age is no longer existing and it's dwindling down, and all these big corporations and these big stores and these big things are non-existent anymore. And so our ass is grass. But we're not taught these things in this age. We are still taught, go to school, get a job, get good grades, and you'll be set for life. And that causes us to be on, again, a path of survival mode. Because now we're just like, okay, all right, so I'm gonna get this next job, or I'm gonna do this next thing. And it's like, but that it doesn't work that way anymore. Things change, life changes. And in order for us to move forward with where we are or where we aspire to be, we have to deconstruct all the things that have been happening in our lives from childhood to see why we felt the need to be where we are in this moment. That's all. That's really all I gotta say. And I hope it made sense. Sacrifice unlocks blessings. 100%. Is everyone telling you that you have to do this truly? And I'm glad you said that. Is what everyone is telling you to do, is it truly serving you? Because parents, I love them dearly, right? But then I'm 28, and so when I look at my parents, like back then, I'm like, they were really just trying to figure out life, just like I'm trying to figure out life right now. The only difference is they were parents. I'm not a parent. But that's really all it is. Parents are big kids. They're figuring it out. Like, they don't have it made. And they're teaching us what they know. They're teaching us what we have. They're teaching us what they've been taught. Sorry. So everything that they've been taught in their 50-something odd years is what they're putting onto us. Because they don't know no different. And that's okay. Like, everybody's figuring it out. So again, as Cheyenne said, you have to get to a point in life where you need to figure out, is what, even what I'm saying to you right now, is this truly serving you? Because if you don't feel that way, then I'm not telling you to go out here and just do what gives you joy and then you're not making money, or you're not, because it wouldn't make sense for you. But you still have to be in a space in life where you can stop and say, this is who I am in this season. This is who I'm striving to be. And these are the things that I need to do in order to do that. And a lot of people don't stop to do that. In being your authentic self, in becoming who you're supposed to be, you have to stop and go through all them things that happen, all the conversations that you never wanted to have, all the things that you brushed off and put to the side, and you know, it's just like I don't want to talk about that. All them things are a part of the reason why you are who you are today, and the reason why you act. We all have a purpose, but we must put ourselves first 100%. And a lot of us don't put ourselves first. As I said, we don't learn about the mindset piece and the emotional piece. Let me tell you something. I'm on here preaching to y'all, but just this morning, somebody was reading me. And I thanked her so dearly for it. Oh my God, God bless her heart. Because she was like, but why don't you feel like you can do X, Y, and Z? And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, you're not allowed to say I don't know, because you do know where it's stemming from. You just don't want to talk about it. You don't want to dig deeper and find out why is it that I feel the ways I do, because it's so easy for us to tell tell other people what to do, but when it comes to ourselves, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good on that, sis. So sometimes we have to be read. We have to allow others to read us. We have to sit in that space where we don't know and it's unknown and we don't know what the next step might look like. Or this is a big one. Don't take the next step if you truly feel like it's not for you. And a lot of people do that. And as I said, it leaves them feeling unfulfilled. People will go to school and then finish with school. I was one of those. I did a whole bio degree and then I was like, but I really don't want to go to med school though. I thought I did because I thought that's what I needed to do. I want to be here. I don't want to do another 4 years to just be miserable. I'm sorry. I just, And even as a nurse, I see the docs all the time. God bless their souls. I'm not discrediting anybody. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying Ashley Renee James had a point in her life where it was, sophomore year of college? And I'm just like, I really don't want to do that. No. Finished my bio degree though. And then I pivoted and I went to nursing school. Because that sat right with me. Get what I'm saying? So don't be afraid. Don't let the fears, don't let the naysayers, don't let the negative Nancys, don't let other people who have nothing to do with you, your finances, or your future tell you what to do, because that's what they've been trained to do. That's what they've been taught, because they're too insecure, they're too fearful, they're too all them things to let themselves progress and let themselves succeed. Don't let that deter you from doing what's truly on your heart, is basically what I'm trying to say. Survival mode is nothing but you operating in life from a place of fear. That's really all it is. So with that, hey Lydia, I think I'm gonna close because I can talk for days, as y'all know, and y'all probably don't want to hear me. Y'all want to enjoy your Saturday. So if you guys have any questions, any comments, definitely drop them down below. Let me know how you feel about this topic, because this is something that I'm really passionate about. And as I said, I know there are tons of other women. I cater mostly to women because that's just, I feel drawn to them because I'm a woman. But definitely let me know how you feel, because it's, I feel like women are, I don't know, the way of the future. I feel like we bring so much class and grace and a different perspective to life, and I want to see my women win. I want to see them, and I'm not saying that just to say that. For years I didn't know how to put it out there. I didn't know what it would look like. I didn't know. What do people do when they survive the bare minimum? And you're absolutely right. And I don't want my women to be out here doing the bare minimum. I know amazing women, and I'm not saying that just to say that. Like, I know some boss babes out here. Shy, you're one of them. And put it this way, it would hurt my heart to see my best friends, to see my dear friends, to see women who I hold close and dear to me do the bare minimum when I know they have greatness inside of them. Does that make sense? I like, even though yes, I'm on a journey to what's the word, empowering other women, strangers, people I don't know, because I feel like if y'all can resonate, then there must be other people out there in the world that can resonate with me, which is why I'm on this platform. Because as I've said time and time again, I don't do video and But now I'm just like, nah, y'all gonna get this video. And this is what I have to say. And somebody gonna listen. Because I feel like, again, we're so boxed in and we're so like, oh, this is how life should be, so we don't let our greatness shine through. And I'm done doing that. It's 2021. Like, life changes, things change, the world is changing. Like, why don't we? Don't sit in something that's making you feel boxed in and unfulfilled because your mama said so, your daddy said so, your grandparents said so, your friends, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's your life to live. God gave you life to live. He gave you breath to live that life. And if he's putting something on your heart and you're not taking hold of it, let me tell you something. I know I'm rambling, but I got a lot to say. I told you that. Obedience leads to alignment. And I say that because if y'all don't know, I'm in a coaching program currently. And the person who read me earlier, we were on a call, and in the midst of the call, she reached out to me. And basically I was sharing, thank you, I was sharing with her how I felt about something that I'm trying to launch. But not with her, with the group. And in the midst of me sharing that, she sent me a DM on Facebook. And so I opened it and she said, hey, do you want to sit and just chat? You know, like we can schedule a meeting. I'll give you 45 minutes to an hour of my time, XYZ. And she's a coach. Like, she is a coach. That's what she does. And I read the message like, I'm sorry, you want to do this for free? And she was like, yes, sis, I got you. And I'm like, one, had I not said how I felt in that moment, because that was truly what was on my heart. I'm not one to seek attention. It don't sit right with me. I start to sweat. I'm sweating right now. And had I not said what I had to say and felt in that moment, right? I don't think that she would have reached out to me. And she said it today. She was like, let me tell you something. I didn't reach out to you because I wanted a potential client or I wanted to say, oh, I did this for you. She said, I reached out to you because it was dropped when you were talking. The Holy Spirit dropped something on my heart and said, reach out to her and ask her if she needs help. And when she said that, I was like, oh my God, this is obedience. If I hadn't taken the steps last year when I was giving God something to bless by starting my blog, right, I wouldn't have, one, and it's so crazy how things come full circle. I was going through my phone last night because I was in my feels. I was in, a whole moment because I deleted the YouTube video. And I was going through my Google Photos and I saw a picture of when I had discovered purpose. It was a profound moment. And it made me smile and I was like, yo, this was just last year though. And I want to say from May 22nd to June 23rd. So let's say a month. I decided, you know what? I'm starting this blog. I've done it twice and failed because I sat on the vision that God was giving to me. And so this time around, like, I'm going with it full force. I don't care who reads it. I don't care. I did care. And I don't care what other people have to say, even though I did. But I'm doing this. And so now, looking at last year, I'm like, if I had not taken those steps last year, I wouldn't be in this coaching program that I'm in right now because I wouldn't have discovered who I did. I wouldn't have, shout out to Shy because she's a real MVP. She actually put me on and I wasn't listening. I wasn't ready yet. But if I hadn't taken those steps, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be in this position to share with you the things that I'm experiencing. I wouldn't have had the meeting that I had with her this morning and the things that she told me that I needed to come up out of that fear and that I don't even want to say season of depression, but basically I was hampering down on myself for not being able to do something. And she was like, but you do realize that that's all in your head though. And it's exactly what I'm spitting to you guys. I'm telling you guys, you got to progress past those fears and you got to, you got to see what's causing these things to come up and these thoughts to come up. And it's happening to me. It happens to all of us. But I had to be obedient and take that scared step to start the blog in order to go through all the things that I went through to get to this point right now. And to be quite honest with you, if I wasn't in that program, me talking about survival mode and having this method to begin with probably wouldn't have been birthed. Which means that all the women who are out there who feel the same way I do, I don't know where they would have turned to because they wouldn't be here. Even though it's just for y'all on the call. That's not the point. The point is obedience brings alignment. you will be put in circles with people. Again, I don't want to share people's business, but there's a sis on this call that said she shared her stories. Like, she shared stories with people because that's just what's on her heart. She feels like that's what she was led to do, and so she does these IG stories. And from that, somebody was able to reach out to her about, a potential offer for something that she was like, wait, hold on, wait, I'm sorry, what's happening? And I'm like, sis, that's alignment. But if you constantly in survival mode and you're not taking the time to step out and say, you know what, I'm gonna just do this one thing this one time and just see how it goes. If you're too scared to even like dip your pinky toe in the water, sis, you about to just be 65 with a pension. And that's okay if that's what you want. But I'm just letting you know that there are more things in life, right? That's all. And I was supposed to say this in the beginning, but once it starts talking, she's on a roll. I'm never, ever, ever, ever gonna come on here and tell you things that are like just not my experiences or people who are tied to me. I'm not gonna come to you and say, oh, this is what you need to do because this is a playbook. There ain't no playbook for life. The only playbook in life, in my opinion, is in the Bible. And apart from that I can't help you because there's no playbook for life. I'm just saying there are more options in the world, and there are more things that will, you have options. You don't have to live life boxed in. There's so much more out there to grasp, so much more. So don't ever feel like I'm here like attacking you and saying, oh, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. Life is what you make it. And even though, they tell us that as a kid, perfect example, I was in the bathroom earlier, rambling. And I was, like getting my thoughts together about what I'm going to talk about and like which direction I want to take it. And the perfect example popped up. Survival mode is taking a test and coming home and letting your parents know, oh my God, I got a 98 on this test. And them spitting back to you, oh, you should have gotten 100. I'm sorry, sis. Can you do this test right now and get a 98 on this test? Because I thought not. So how dare you tell me to shoot for the 100? And it's not, encouragement is a hell of a thing, yes. But understand that those subtle messages, it's just like, it's not saying that you're not enough. But there's a part of it that's just like, well, why didn't you get the 100 though? I don't understand. Didn't you study hard enough? Didn't you? And at a certain point, it's like, damn, like, just be happy. Like, I got a 98 though. And I feel like those little things in childhood have us thinking, oh, well, this isn't good enough. We got to get more. And we just keep going for the more, and we get burned out. It's not worth it. There's more to life. There's more to life than just working, and just not doing anything else but that. You work, you go on a vacation. Work and go on a vacation. Go on a vacation, you come back to work, and you're still depressed. There's more to life. A lot more to life. Those are the things that we don't know. Those are the things that we are not taught. I definitely went over my 45 minutes, but I hope y'all understand where I'm coming from with this, right? And there's just so much more to life than that. It's not always a straight and narrow. It's not always this is what you have to do and there's no other way. There's so many more things out there to grasp. That's really all I gotta say though. I've been chatting. The never-ending cycle. Willing to step out of our comfort zone and take risks. I've had that happen sometimes. My dad and my boo, right? That was the best for me today. Yeah. Hillary, you stressed? Are you stressful? And see, if I had come on here last night, I wouldn't have had the same energy. And so I knew I would not have done this live service. So I wasn't even But I think y'all got the point, right? Like, if y'all edges a little tight, if you feel like your panties are in a bunch, if you had to clutch your pearls 1 or 2 times, I'm okay with that. That's the whole point. I'm glad I'm reading you. Must find some purpose is absolutely right. That's, as I said, purpose for me is like it's my joy is rooted in my purpose. This here, like, I don't think y'all understand. I was like vibing out to music, like putting makeup on, doing the whole thing, like, all right, this about to be popping, because it really does bring me joy. It brings me joy because I feel like there are other people in this pain, and I want to snatch them right up on out of it. Like, no, you're too great, and you're too cute, and you're too bomb to be doing this for the rest of your life, and to be in this cycle for the rest of your life. And I need to pull you out of that. I need you to understand that this is not all it's about. This is my purpose. This brings me joy. I'm encouraging you to find your purpose, find your joy. Survival mode ain't it. Survival mode will leave you on somebody's bathroom floor having a heart attack and wondering, oh my God, I worked so hard. Why is this happening to me? It's not worth it. Anywho, all right, I'm done talking. We about to hit an hour. Thank you, Jasmine. Hillary, I'm glad your itches are gone. I'm glad to give you some coconut oil because, you know, that's just the way of life, and natural is the way. And so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please, please, please. So a couple things. I will be doing a free webinar tomorrow if you're able. I know I got some people who told me, like, sis, like, damn, I'm not available, I'm working. I'm sorry, I'll try to record it. But I'll be doing a free webinar tomorrow. It's going to be on Zoom. If you click the link in my bio, it's the first one that pops up. It's tomorrow at, lost my whole train of thought. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please come through. I'm going to be talking about the topic becoming, because I am becoming. And just going to rock out. Have some amazing things lined up and some announcements to come in the future. And that's all I gotta say. So thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Thanks for rocking out with me and listening to me chatter. And I will see you guys in the next live. And let me know if y'all like these live, you know, like consistent lives, even though your girl just been all over the place lately. Let me know and we can work some things out. All right, have a good one, guys. Happy Saturday. Enjoy.